What if the solution to feeling overwhelmed isn't about adding more productivity systems, but intentionally doing less? This counterintuitive approach is exactly what psychology researchers at Harvard have discovered leads to greater fulfillment and mental clarity. Remember when you felt buried under endless to do lists? That crushing weight of responsibilities seemed inescapable, right? By the end of this video, you'll understand the three specific reasons why reducing your complex roles and commitments eliminates overwhelm. I'll share practical steps to begin this transformation for you today. Even if you currently feel trapped by your responsibilities, you can do this. Imagine waking up with a clear mind, energized and focused only on what truly matters in your life. Mental clarity, the hidden cost of complexity. What if your mind's constant fog isn't a personal failing, but simply your brain's natural response to the overwhelming complexity you're forcing it to manage? That mental cloudiness you battle with daily might actually be predictable biological responses to juggling too many roles at once. Our brains were never designed for this constant context switching that modern life demands of us. When you transition from parent to professional to community volunteer to caretaker all within a single day or even in a single hour, your brain struggles to keep up with these rapid shifts. Each transition requires a complete reconfiguration of your mental operating system, loading different priorities, relationships, and responsibilities. This creates significant biological strain. Neuroscience reveals this through a phenomenon called attention residue. When switching between complex roles, your brain doesn't make a clean break. Thoughts from your previous task continue to linger, contaminating your focus on the current responsibility. This residue persists for minutes after each transition. Gradually, it erodes your ability to think clearly. Imagine your mind like a computer with too many programs and tabs open all the time. I do that as well. Each new application you open further slows down the entire system. This constant mental reorientation extracts a cognitive toll in the end. Studies show context switching can cost up to 40% of your productive capacity, nearly half your mental resources wasted simply on transitioning between different types of work. Meanwhile, beneath your conscious awareness, your brain perpetually tracks incomplete tasks across all your roles, creating what psychologists identify as persistent background anxiety that further depletes your natural resources. Picture Sarah, typical professional. At 8:30 in the morning, she's in parent mode, organizing lunches and school drop-offs. By 9:15, she switched to an executive mode for her critical meeting at work. At noon, she takes a personal call about her father's medical care. By 2 p.m., she's planning perhaps a community fundraiser, and at 5 p.m., she's back to parenting. Each transition in this example leaves a mental residue, and by evening, her cognitive capacity is significantly diminished. Can you relate to this example? What are the roles you're balancing every day? This split attention becomes your default state. You're physically sitting in a business meeting, but mentally rehearsing a conversation with your teenager. You're at a family dinner, but reviewing tomorrow's presentation in your mind. You're engaging in a hobby, but cataloging household tasks awaiting completion when you head back home. Cognitive load theory explains this very clearly. Your brain has a capacity for processing information. Every role adds to this load, requiring your brain to juggle multiple sets of information simultaneously. When this exceeds your capacity, your ability to think clearly diminishes dramatically. The result? The more roles you accumulate, the less mental bandwidth you have for deep thinking, creativity, and presence that makes these roles meaningful. You become increasingly busy yet decreasingly effective. But there's profound hope. By intentionally reducing your roles and commitments, you create a mental space that allows for deeper focus and clarity. This isn't about doing less from laziness. Rather, it's about eliminating excessive complexity so you can bring your full cognitive resources to what truly matters in life. Let's talk about the third P, emotional fulfillment, right? Quality over quantity is important. Have you noticed that adding more activities and relationships to your life often leaves you feeling less satisfied rather than more? This paradox reveals something crucial about emotional fulfillment. While we may intuitively expect more experiences to generate greater happiness, psychological research has uncovered a counterintuitive truth. The very pursuit of more experiences, more relationships, more achievements is precisely what prevents us from experiencing genuine satisfaction. From childhood, we've been conditioned to believe that accumulating experiences creates a meaningful life. Our social media feeds showcase friends with packed schedules and extensive social circles, reinforcing this message daily. Fuller lives equal greater fulfillment. The evidence suggests otherwise. As commitments multiply, your ability to be fully present diminishes. At your last social gathering, were you truly there? Or was your mind already planning tomorrow's meeting? This divided attention isn't a personal failing, but an unavoidable consequence of overcommitment. Take Sarah, marketing executive, who maintained dozens of casual friendships and participated in 5 different networking groups. Despite constant social activity, she felt disconnected. When she deliberately scaled back to focus on just 3 close friendships and 1 professional group, she described feeling seen for the first time. Her fewer interactions now left her energized rather than drained. The human capacity for meaningful connection has biological limits. When spread across too many relationships, each interaction becomes shallower. Consider conversations where you were physically present but mentally elsewhere. Did you feel connected or fulfilled? Psychologists call this emotional dilution, like adding water to a rich espresso until you can barely taste what made it special. The more experiences you add, the less flavor each contains. This creates a troubling cycle. Feeling unfulfilled, we add more to our lives, further diluting our capacity for engagement, leaving us even less satisfied. Positive psychology research demonstrates that fulfillment emerges from depth, not breadth. A single conversation where you're fully present provides more emotional nourishment than numerous divided interactions. With fewer, more intentional commitments, we create space for savoring. Imagine savoring a conversation like your favorite meal instead of nibbling countless small bites throughout the day. Savoring involves actively noticing and appreciating positive experiences rather than rushing to the next big thing. This explains why being constantly busy often leaves us unfulfilled. We are accumulating experiences without emotional bandwidth to derive meaning from them. By reducing commitments to those aligned with your core values, you create space for genuine connection. Quality relationships require presence. Meaningful work requires focus. Personal growth requires reflection. None are possible when attention is fragmented. The minimalist approach transforms your experience from constantly chasing the next thing to appreciating what's present now. Instead of spreading yourself across many superficial connections, you nurture fewer, deeper ones. This shift from breadth to depth can enrich your life. Productive power. The paradox of doing less to achieve more. Despite our technological advanced efficiencies and longer working hours, many of us, we are feeling like we are making minimal progress in what truly matters. This paradox reveals a fundamental misunderstanding we all have about productivity that neuroscience has recently uncovered. And it explains it simply. Why adding more to your plate consistently produces actually diminishing returns. When we talk about productivity, we often fixate on quantity: completed tasks, attended meetings, juggled projects, tick box, tick box, tick box. Our society has built a culture around the notion that being busy equals being important. We wear exhaustion like a badge of honor, comparing overwhelming schedules as if they're achievements. Remember this colleague who says, "Oh, I put in a long time. I was there last night till 10 in the night at work in the office," or you all went at your regular contracted time. That's seen as a badge of achievement somehow. But this approach misses the point of what productivity actually means. Cal Newport's research introduces a critical distinction: deep work versus shallow work. Deep work represents focused concentration where we create genuine value. Like when a writer enters a 2-hour flow state to draft a complex argument, or a programmer solving a difficult technical problem without interruption. Shallow work fills our days with the illusion of productivity, checking emails every 5 minutes, attending status of meetings, or handling routine administrative tasks. Keeps us busy without actual meaningful progress. This distinction explains the frustration many of us experience. We are working harder every day, more than ever, yet we are producing less of what actually matters. The reason isn't inadequacy or lacking discipline. We have structured our lives in ways that make meaningful productivity nearly impossible. When attention constantly shifts between commitments, we never create conditions necessary for breakthrough thinking. The cognitive science behind this is revealing. Our brains toggle between different mental contexts when attempting multiple complex tasks. Each switch comes with a hidden cost, as our minds struggle to reorient time and time again, leaving what researchers call attention residue. Like a computer with too many programs running simultaneously, our mental processing keeps slowing dramatically. Studies show that context switching can reduce productivity, like I said, up to 40%, even among those who consider themselves excellent multitaskers. Accomplished people across different fields understand this reality. They succeed by eliminating distractions and focusing cognitive resources on very fewer and more significant activities is what they focus on. These high performers create conditions for achievement by strategically removing what doesn't contribute to their important goals. In practical terms, we need to rethink how we evaluate productivity. Instead of asking, "How much did I get done today?" we should ask, "Did I make meaningful progress on what matters most?" It's a new question, and this can transform our relationship with productivity from a task checking race to cultivating important and deep work which is meaningful. The path forward becomes clear with this understanding. By reducing lower value commitments, you create mental space necessary for deep, focused work. When you eliminate constant context switching, you free cognitive resources needing for creativity, problem solving, and innovation. This approach transforms the nature of what you produce, creating results impossible in a state of fragmented attention and constant busyness. Conclusion is this: we've explored how reducing the complexity can create mental clarity, emotional depth, and productive power. But this journey isn't about finding another productivity system. Not at all. It's about you having the courage to simplify and prioritize what genuinely matters in your life. Minimalism, rather personal minimalism, should happen through intentional choice. Today, identify one commitment, just one, which you can release, creating space for greater presence in what remains. How would your life change if you finally feel present and energized each and every single day? In a world that profits from your attention, your complexity, choosing simplicity is revolutionary, the foundation for the peace you actually seek. If you want to learn more, you need to join a community at LogicalRetreat.com, where people like you and we join together and we embrace a concept called one-page life clarity together. This is where you live your life with one page of set priorities. Just the top, the cream of what purposes, priorities, and personal legacy plans which matter, mapped up according to a 58-point set of clarity patterns. And you're going to carry that in your purse or wallet. And every single life decision you make, you're going to make it on that. And that, my dear friend, is how you reduce overwhelm for good. Take care and see you in the next video.